every single one of us choice. We're told that all the time, that you get to choose this, or that's your choice or their choice. But is every choice really a true choice? That's super important question to ask and to understand. So let's dissect what makes choice a real free choice versus what I describe as a tricky choice. And I promise, once you see this, you won't be able to unsee it. So stick around. But first, let's arrive here right now. I want you to take a deep breath. Just feel your feet flat on the floor. You don't have to agree with everything I say. Just remain curious to see something different with new eyes. Got it? If you got that, just write in the comments or the chat, new eyes. Now, I want you to consider if I was holding 2 boxes of cookies in front of you and I asked you to pick one, A or B. Which one would you pick? Now, what if you pick B and I told you the cookies are actually dog biscuits? How do you feel? Without knowing the full story, did you really have a choice? Does that feel like freedom if it wasn't really a choice? It looked like a choice, but it wasn't a true choice. It was more of a tricky choice because a true choice has 3 ingredients. Just like a sandwich needs 2 slices of bread and filling, if you miss one, it falls apart. Choice, true choice, free choice, requires 3 ingredients: truth, accurate knowledge of the situation. Number 2 is options, real alternatives, real empowering alternatives. It can't just be a bad situation or a worse situation. And number 3, no coercion, no pressure, right? If you feel pressure to make a decision, that isn't a true free choice. That's a tricky choice. In this case, a coerced choice. So I want you to tap in the chat or the comment, which of these 3, truth, options, or freedom, feels most often missed in choices that you've had to make? Have you felt there was a lack of truth, a lack of option, or a lack of freedom to choose? Just put that in the comments or the chat. Now let's use a neutral example. Let's say a whale drinks water filled with plastic. You know, President Trump has used that. So did that whale choose? Yes, it did choose. But did it have truth about the water? Did it have options about the water? Was it free to say no? No, it wasn't. So while it was a choice to open its mouth and take in that water, it's not a true free choice. It's a tricky choice. So I want you to think of a time that you made a decision that looked like a choice, but really wasn't. Maybe it was a job that you had to take. Maybe it was in a relationship. Maybe it was a medical decision. What truth was missing? What options weren't there? What pressure was present? Go ahead and share what came up. If you feel so inclined, what did you notice about your own story? When those in power say, well, they chose it, they erase the truth that many decisions are tricky because they involve fear, they involve lack of information or limited options or just plain misinformation. And that really matters because it can place false blame on people who are already suffering. It can let those in power avoid responsibility for creating real options, and it can shut down compassion. So I want you to type one word, your reaction. How does it feel to realize that not every choice that you've seen in your life was really a free choice? How does that feel to realize that not every choice in your life is a free choice, especially when you're told that you chose it? What if you've chosen something, but your options were limited, you were misinformed, or you were pressured or felt pressured? What does that feel like to not be given choice, especially when people tell you that it was choice? Now I want you to look at these different scenarios, and I want you to tell me if it's a true choice or a tricky choice. Which one do you think it is? So scenario A, is it true choice or tricky choice? Scenario A patient takes medication but isn't told about the side effects of that medication. Is that a true choice or a tricky choice? Now, scenario B, a refugee leaves their country because staying means violence. Is that a true choice or a tricky choice? Scenario C, a teenager chooses to drink because of peer pressure. Pure free choice or tricky choice? And scenario D, a donor gives money because a leader said that God will curse you if you don't. Is that a free choice or a tricky choice? Do you notice the pattern? In every tricky choice, there's at least one of the three ingredients that is missing, right? So I want you to learn to ask these three questions before you agree to anything, before you make a choice or a decision. Number one is, do I have the truth, the full truth? Number two is, do I have real viable options, or is it bad and worse? Those aren't options. If you just have bad or worse, those are not options. There should be a viable, empowering option in there. And number three, do I feel free without pressure to make this decision? I want you to think of a choice that you're facing right now and ask yourself those three questions. What do you notice? So here's the bottom line. Not all choices are real choices. A true choice requires truth, options, and no coercion. And without them, it's not freedom. It's a tricky choice. So here's my challenge for you. I want you to ask those three questions this week before you decide anything big. And I want you to share this with someone you love. Help them see that they deserve to have true free choices too. Because freedom is not just the power to act, it's the power to choose with truth, options, and without pressure. So, in one sentence, I want you to type in the chat or the comments, what is one takeaway that you're leaving with today? Thank you. I hope this was helpful.